Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to have you guys back. Today I will be addressing one of the most asked questions, not questions, but one of the most asked videos that I've been receiving, and it's basically how do I actually prepare for PA interviews. So if you clicked on this video, I can imagine that you are maybe trying to apply for PA school, or you started to receive some offers and they've been inviting you for interview. This is my tips for PA interview and all you need to know before going for the interview. So you've now received your invitation for your interview and you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do, what am I gonna do, what am I gonna do? Simple fact is, well done. This is a step closer to your dream. So I just want you to have that in mind when going for your interview. Always remember that it's an opportunity given to you to be able to do what you want to do, which is to become a physician associate. So please do not take it lightly. Just make sure that you know that it is such a privilege. That's all I want you to know. Then I just want to say, be yourself. It's easy to say, but it's harder. I remember my first interview, I was really nervous and anxious, but to be fair, it's good. When you're nervous and anxious, it means that you really want it. So just make sure that you know how to manage and control your anxiety. It's hard. It's very hard, but just try and manage it. You know, I found for myself that having positive thoughts and just affirmations helped me a lot. So I kept praying and kept saying to God, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have this, I will get it, I will get it. So that's one of my top. But I would say definitely stay positive. And then also I would say dress smart. You don't have to dress to impress, but I would say dress smart. We're not going to, you know, I don't know, like, it's an interview and it's a professional interview and you have to take it lightly. Therefore I would say dress smart, and you can dress smart casual, but please, I don't think wearing jeans is appropriate. So I'll just say dress smart. The ladies, you know, you can wear your nice taper trousers, a nice blazer or a nice blouse, or you can wear nice office dress or nice mid-length skirt with a blouse. The male, I don't know, you know, just wear like a nice taper trousers, suit, you know, like, yeah, just be smart. Literally just show that, because you're going to be working in a professional environment. You just want to show that, you know, you can dress smart. And then also I'd say just wear a smile on your face. Wear a smile on your face. Be happy, be positive. Don't get your anxiety and your nervousness to get to you. Just make sure you're happy. I know it's hard, but just be happy. And then also another thing I would say, make sure you research about where you're applying, and so that you're familiar with the university itself, because questions about the universities do come up. And also I would say make sure you know what the PA role is, and if you don't know it yet, I would basically tell you to watch my previous videos. I always say this on all my videos, so just watch my previous videos. And yeah, let's get into why you choose to click on this video. Okay, so I just want to start off with underlining the type of interviews that the PA course may offer. And these interviews are, I basically put them in kind of groups. So one is group interview, two is one-to-one interview, panel interview, MMI, which stands for multiple mini interviews, numeracy test, scenario-based questions, and yeah, I think that's it. I basically applied to quite an extension of universities, and I can say that I had the best of all these words that I am about to tell you. So some interviews are conducted with a mixture of either of the categories that I outlined. However, I'm going to be talking about each category in a distinct way, but just bear in mind that not necessarily you may go for the interview and you would have just that one category. For example, you may have a group interview followed by a one-to-one interview, or a numeracy test followed by a base question test, followed by a group interview, followed by a one-to-one interview. So just bear that in mind, that there is different type of interviews, and depending on the university, they decide what type of interview they may be offered. They may offer, sorry. So starting from the group interview, as the name suggests, is a group interview, and a group interview is basically having you and few other students that have applied for the course coming together. And usually what tends to happen is that there is an examiner followed by a second examiner. I just say examiner, but normally they're lecturers of the course, and basically what they do is they will observe your interaction amongst others and decide from there. Normally they'll grade you or give you marks for things said. Normally what I tend to find that for group interviews, there isn't any wrong or right answers. It's basically what they're trying to see is your interaction with others, but also they're trying to see whether you can come up with ideas. And the whole point as to become a physician associate is to become a generalist, and when you become a generalist, you know, you'd have to be bringing up ideas to other people. And also because as a PA you would be working with doctors, nurses, allied profession, having that group interview aspect of it helps the course tutor or whoever is marking you, knowing if this person can fit into one of the qualities that a PA needs to have, which is being able to interact with other people. So with group interviews, normally what they tend to do is to give you a question, and this question would basically normally it could be in relation to health, but it's also finding how you fit in and what you can do. So in some interviews they may give you a budget, and they would say argue amongst yourself and decide how well you would spend this budget in a particular field in health. So you, for example, can then decide, well, if I'm given this budget, I will be spending it on I don't know, promotion of smoking cessation. And if you want to spend that budget, always make sure that you're backing it up with different sort of reason why you would spend the money. So don't just say I would spend my money on smoking cessation promotion. What I would then say, I would say, because I have read that smoking causes this, that, it can lead to COPD, lung cancer, it can lead to all sorts of diseases, and also due to this, I would suggest that because it has been proven that X amount of people are now dying from smoking, I would invest my money in such campaign. So that's just literally an example that out of my head, and I've never been asked such a question, but that's just what came out of my head. So that's group interview. With group interview, also what I want you to know is that some people will try and I'm saying this because it's happened to me, to each group interviewer. Some people are them ones that you know that, oh my god, you're not gonna talk, I'm gonna be the only one talking. And just what I want you to know is, don't be afraid to say I agree with you or I disagree with you, but in my opinion, try and catch the word when you can, but also be respectful and mindful of other people's spaces. If you want to talk first, feel free to talk first. There is no timing to that. However, I'll say be systematic and know how to jump into the conversation, because if not, there are some people that will talk more than you, and you don't want to be the shy person and the marker will be like, oh okay, this person has not spoken. You want to make sure that your voice is heard, and that's the whole point. And if you do it in the right manner, the marker will know that although that person was trying to overshadow you or was trying to, you know, talk more, they would know that you are trying to speak up for yourself and you're trying to bring a message across. Remember that with group interview, it's not how much you speak, but it's more about what you speak, so the quality of what you say. Now going on to one-to-one interview. One-to-one interview is a bit different. So normally it would, I don't know if there's, for what I've experienced, my one-to-one interviews were more of two people sitting and interviewing me. So they will take it a turn, ask me some questions, and usually the questions are mostly related to what do you think a PA is? What qualities do they need? What have you done that's made you realize that you want to become a PA? Questions such as what would you do if you were in such scenario? Explain what you would do if you were put in such scenario. Or how would you identify confidentiality problems or questions? Honestly, they're different questions, and it differs from university to university. I found that some university will ask you things much more related to PA, and some other university will literally ask you things about your personal life and how you've developed your confidence, your communication skills, things like that. So it really differs, and honestly there is no way to prepare if not to be yourself and just know how to talk. And I think that's what I'll put it down to. A one-to-one interview can differ from different university, and there is no way to actually prepare for them because you don't know what question they're going to ask. But definitely I would say make sure you know what you wrote on your personal statement. And by questioning you on your personal statement, they just want to know how if what you've written is true. And you know, so if you said you read a book, they may question you about the book, and that's basically it. Then you have your third category, which is your panel interview. And panel interview basically panel interview is basically where you have a set amount of people. Usually it will involve maybe a student, not a student, but usually it will involve people that direct the program. So you have 4 to 7 people, and each of them would then ask you a question, and then you would basically answer. So it's similar to a one-to-one interview, but this time you're actually having more people asking you questions. MMI basically stands for multiple mini interviews, and what it is basically different stations, and normally there are 5 or 6. And what tends to happen is if you've been split in small different groups, the first 6 will be placed 1 out of each cabin, and after you've been placed 1 out of each cabin, you'll be given usually 2 minutes or 3 minutes to read the question outside of the cabin. After you read the question, you then go into the cabin, and then you have a mini interview. And this mini interview can range from someone asking you a question, having actors acting a part of a scenario that you read outside, and there's usually an examiner in the room that then examines how you would react. And yeah, and basically that's what it entails. So for example, you may have 5 different stations, and in the first station you read the scenario that is given to you outside, and it basically says, why do you want to be a PA? You go in, there is usually 2 people or 1 person marking you, and they'll say, so tell me, why did you choose to become a PA? It's as simple as that. And then you would have to answer, and you get given a set time. It depends from university. Like for me, I think the ones I went to were usually 7 to 10 minutes time, and you basically, for that 10 minutes you have to talk. If you finish early, don't mind. If you finish saying what you said, it's happened to me, I don't have anything else to say, trust me, the examiners are really good to pick up another conversation, and they will say, oh, do you like the university, things like that. So don't worry. If what you want to say can be covered in 10 minutes or you've covered it already, don't be worried. And then what tends to happen is that a bell will ring, and then you would have to say thank you to the examiner. You then come out from the station and you move to the second station, and the other person that was on number 2 will move to number 3. So it goes like that until you all complete each station. So another thing that can happen is that when you're doing the station, when you go into the station, the scenario you've read involves you dealing with an angry patient. How would you act? So the whole point is you have an actor that will act as the angry patient, and you will have to now try and calm the situation, explain to the patient what's happened, what's gone wrong, and how you could manage to make the patient better. And normally it could be that the actor itself is the person marking you, so they will mark you after you finished, or it could also be that there's someone looking at you marking you. Then another thing I found is that you may get basically mostly scenarios. So as I said, they may also put, you go into your first day of PA training, PA placement, and you realize that your tutor is not there. What would you do? And you go into there and you speak to the examiner and you explain what you would do in such scenario. So, you know, they're different questions, and they range, literally, they range from everything. And do you require medical knowledge? That's what someone asked me. And to be fair, I feel like if you did a science degree, your mentality is thinking about medical stuff regardless. Like, so on that terms, on that point, I would say yes but no, because if they're mostly scenario based, and they don't ask you anything like pharmaceutical, so you don't need to know drugs. However, you will need to know how to try and calm a patient, if that makes sense, from your experience in healthcare, or you only working, I don't know, in retail. So yeah, I wouldn't say you require medical knowledge. However, it's a bonus if you do, because then you know how to interact with patients. Then you may be given a numeracy test. I went to a couple of universities. Yes, I had to do numeracy test, and the numeracy test is literally very easy. Like, honestly, I'm average at maths. I'm not gonna say I'm bad. I'm actually average. But you don't need to know like algebra. Nah, it's mostly, the reason why they make you do the numeracy test is also to see if you're able, you know, to calculate drugs. So I would say know your equivalents, know your know your simple basic addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, you know, because they may put questions on there like you need to give 5 mils of drug to a certain patient, but you only have 1 mil syringe. How many syringes would you give? Questions like that, literally. Or you need to give 2.5 milligrams of a particular drug, but your drug is 5 milligrams. So how much dose does the patient need to take? So in that case, you would answer half a dose of the tablet. So literally questions like that, really basic. Some are literally 150 minus 10, like literally that easy. Some are like 10 plus 2, like, well, no, yeah, you get what I'm saying basically. Then you may also get, I wouldn't say an essay, well, okay, it's a bit different. So I've been to some universities where they required me to basically write an essay, and writing of the essay may involve you writing a letter. It may involve you answering questions. So they may put on there a couple of questions that you need to write, maybe 250 words for each question. So usually they'll put like 2 questions and you have to write 250 words, or they may tell you to write a letter and you have to write maybe up to 300 to 400 words. So it depends, and that is basically just to test how you write. I will say though that not all universities do it, so don't worry. However, if they do, don't panic, because it's not something that you can't achieve. I would just say for this bit is make sure you know your grammar, your punctuation, you know, you just want to make sure you know what you're writing and what you're doing. And yeah, so basically those are all my interview tips and preparation. There isn't much, rather than you be yourself, be happy, try not to be too anxious, don't make that side of things get to you. And another thing I want to say, when you're doing the MMI, which can be dreadful, because it can be, and I personally don't like them, but yeah, they can be dreadful. If you feel like you've done wrong on a particular station, please don't take that thought to your next station. Literally think as if they were all just different, and they're basically different stations. And trust me, with MMIs, they will grade you or give you points, and if you do bad in a station, you may do really well in another station, and it all evens and balances out. So I just want to say, just don't get that negative thought oh my god, I've done really bad, how am I gonna do the next one? Just forget about it, smash the next one and smash the other one and smash the other one, you know, get in there. So yeah, this is all my tips and advice on interview, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Please share, like and subscribe. Follow me on my social. I'm most active on my Instagram, p.a.glam by Stefania, and see you in my next one.